Welcome back, Illini fans. It's time for another edition of Illini Sports Night. I'm Tristan Kizik.
And I'm Patch Kazone.
Tonight, we'll give you the latest on women's and men's basketball, and later, Nathan DeHaan talks with a member of the Illinois men's hockey team.
But first, some headlines. Illinois men's basketball defeated the Northwestern Wildcats on Thursday night in Evanston. This is a good win for the Illini, one they should have won. But more importantly, it gets them in potentially top four for the Big Ten tournament in the seeding. Yeah, that double bye is crucial, but yeah, really, this was just a get-right game for everybody.
Like to see Georgia get back on track with the Big Ten tournament coming up. Just taking care of business up in the suburbs.
Absolutely, and it's been a while since we've been a top four seed, so that'd be nice to see finally for the Illini.
Jared Farmer has more about men's basketball and its win against Nebraska on Monday night.
Let's wind the clock back to about 2.5 weeks to here at State Farm Center, where the Fighting Illini are in a contested match against the Michigan State Spartans. It comes down to just one play that is terrifying for Illini sports fans. It's about right here, where sophomore guard Ayo Dosunmu suffers a terrible fall, holding on to his knee and down.
The team was relieved to learn that Dosunmu had not suffered any structural damage to his knee. The sophomore was back in action against the Nittany Lions, where he took over late in an upset Big Ten victory. After a week off of action, Dosunmu told reporters before the game against Nebraska he felt about 80 to 85% healthy in just his second game back and first in State Farm Center since his fall. But even at 80%, Dosunmu seemed determined to fool the rest of the State Farm Center into believing otherwise. The sophomore guard got himself going by attacking the paint and electrifying the crowd with some fast-paced transition offense. On top of some early fast break points, Dosunmu terrorized his guard matchup Hanif Cheatham, who scored 14 points but was held to 7 of 20 from the field and 2 of 14 from downtown. Fred Hoiberg's Cornhuskers opened up the second half on a 15-9 run that tied the game, but Dosunmu's relentless pushing in transition helped spark a 21-9 run that secured the second straight win for the Illini.
I just think about, using my speed and making the right play, whether it's kicking it out or getting to the rim, finishing, just make whatever the right play is.
As for Dosunmu, the reigning Big Ten Player of the Week finished leading the Illini in scoring with 18 points, with a side piece of 2 assists and 2 rebounds.
There were so many exciting things to take away from this basketball game. But what gets lost in all the hype is Ayo was healthy. And maybe that might be the most rewarding thing of all.
Jared Farmer, Illini Sports Night.
Illinois women's basketball dropped its final home game of the season on Wednesday night. The Illini fell to the Michigan State Spartans 72-58. Senior Allie Andrews led the charge with 16 points and 7 rebounds, and the Illini will travel to Evanston tomorrow to take on the number 14 Northwestern Wildcats at 1.
We got impatient, and when we got impatient, we took quick shots, and the quick shots started putting us in a defensive transition situation where we couldn't quite. That's where they popped the lead. When I told them what their reference was that I thought they moved the ball better, we took better shots, and then
Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman made 2 big announcements on Tuesday. Whitman and the university announced the construction of a state-of-the-art indoor softball facility. Illinois financed the facility with a $3 million donation from Rex Martin and his daughters, Ashley Martin and Alexis Martin-Close. The training center will be a premier indoor performance and development facility for the Fighting Illini softball team. Whitman also made a statement updating the possible addition of a Division I hockey team. Illinois still has some major obstacles in the pursuit of the team. Whitman needs to find a suitor for a $100 million hockey arena in Champaign. Whitman said, quote, "We're as optimistic as we've ever been that we'll be able to get this done. It's just a question of time."
It's a pretty hefty price tag there. I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but if Illinois brought a team to town, I would definitely pop over for at least a game or 2.
Absolutely. Illinois is top 4, I believe, in talent and getting talent to college teams. So it just makes sense that we would have a Division I team at home and get some of those in-home recruits to come to the University of Illinois and maybe compete for a national championship pretty quickly.
I agree with you there. Nathan DeHaan has the inside scoop on the men's club hockey team.
Meet the Illinois men's hockey team. They are a fun and rowdy group of guys playing the game they love.
I just love being at the rink every day. Gives me something to do, and it's like there's nowhere where else I'd really rather be than being at the rink playing hockey.
Sometimes that passion boils over come game time. But whether it's in-game or in practice, they love what they do.
Practice is usually fun, refreshing. I like to get out there, get a workout, get a sweat in.
But for some, they will soon have to say goodbye to the game they love.
Senior night this weekend. I'm a senior. We have an older team, so around 12 or 13 seniors.
A season that started all the way back in September is finally coming to a close. The Illini men's hockey team has seen some highs, like a 6-game win streak in December, and some lows, like losing all 4 games to bitter rival Lindenwood University. But head coach Nick Fabrini's team isn't sulking going into the postseason.
Let's go full ice field. Yeah!
They're taking it one game at a time.
Hasn't really settled in yet that I'm almost done, but I'm really excited to finish out strong.
And with that mindset, who knows how far they can go. In Champaign, Nathan DeHaan, Illini Sports Night.
Illinois baseball had an impressive weekend in Myrtle Beach. The Illini came away with wins against West Virginia and Coastal Carolina. Ty Weber and Cole Kirscheiper highlighted the weekend with 2 great performances on the mound. The 2 wins helped the Illini improve to .500.
The IHSA State Wrestling Championships took over State Farm Center last week, but not without giving Fighting Illini fans a glimpse of the future. 4 Illinois commits wrestled in their future home, including 2018 state champion Fabian Lopez and 195-pound top qualifier Cody Goodman. Though it was not Lopez or Goodman who placed first, they both claimed second respectively. Rather, Edwardsville senior Luke Odom avenged his only loss this season in a decision victory that claimed an individual 3A state title. The 160-pounder dominated all 3 days of the tournament, outscoring his opposition 39-3 in 4 bouts. With a state championship in tow, Odom says competing for the Fighting Illini is the realization of a dream.
I wanted to wrestle for the University of Illinois. I bought the bed sheets, everything, the biggest fan, and I spent my whole life trying to accomplish that goal, and I'm here in Champaign. It's going to be my home and dream come true.
Odom will be the first member of his family to attend college, which is just as big of an accomplishment as being the last person standing in the state finals.
Yeah, and you might know the Bronigal Bros from the wrestling mat, but the Fighting Illini twins were in the stands at the IHSA State Wrestling Championship. Illini Sports Night Peyton Wesner has the scoop on why they were there.
In wrestling, you don't have teammates. You have brothers. For Danny and Zach Brannagel, this is literally the case. Yet, on the weekend of Illinois' regular season finale, attention didn't go to the rising redshirt freshman. No, eyes were instead fixated on the youngest of the Brannagel brothers, Joe. Joe is a familiar face around the University of Illinois. The junior at Althoff Catholic High School can be found sitting front row at Fighting Illini duels, cheering on his brothers. In the biggest match of Joe's career, Danny and Zach return the favor.
We've always been super close to each other, and everything we've done is together, so it's our turn to support them.
In the Brannagel household, Danny and Zach shared a room. Joe was not too far away, only a couple steps in fact. From the beginning, the brotherly bond between the Brannagels was strong. So strong, Joe knows exactly who his biggest backers are to this day.
My brothers are my biggest supporters no matter what. When in doubt, I could be in Canada right now wrestling and they'd still cheer me on.
The state championships were not the only time Danny and Zach could watch Joe. From video chatting their mother during matches to a special trip to the Vandalia sectional. The twins were always keeping up with Joe's bouts. And there's only one way to do so properly: sitting front row and shouting loudly.
Joe, whenever Joe does wrestling, we get the closest seats possible and we are loud. Because, momentum's a huge thing, and, we just try to get that on his side, and we just like to have a little fun with it, Just got to be rowdy.
Joe gave all his brothers, Jared included, something to be rowdy about, becoming the third Brandnagel to claim an individual IHSA state championship by raising his hands and posing for pictures from his brothers. An undefeated week in Champaign was immortalized.
I'm the young brother, and I had a lot to look up to, and now I'm like them, I guess. We all want it.
Danny and Zach are taking the Big Ten by storm. Joe may be next. The 182-pound champion says he has been in talks with multiple colleges, and a state title will certainly do even more to bolster his resume. From State Farm Center, I'm Peyton Wessner, Illini Sports Night.
While Joe claimed an IHSA championship, Zach and Danny will look to bring Big Ten glory back to Champaign at the Big Ten Championships next week.
And here's a fun one, mixing sports and politics. The Illinois student government passed an amendment that will put the Kingfisher Mascot idea onto the upcoming student ballot that will be sent out to students via email in early March. The Kingfisher Mascot idea started making waves on social media last semester and is picking up again after an ISG vote of 41-0 to put the proposal on the ballot. ISN contributor Jose Zepeda talked to the creator of the Kingfisher to find the origins of her design, why she created it, and what the future could hold if a majority of students vote yes on the design.
At this time 1 year ago, the university was having a heated debate between two possible mascot ideas surfing around campus.
Champ or Alma Otter?
Alma Otter.
Alma Otter for sure.
Why is that?
I like otters.
Yeah, otters are actually my favorite animal, so I'm a big fan of Alma Otter.
Now, Illinois student government is set to send out a ballot next week where students can vote to see if the latest mascot proposal should move forward and be presented to university administration. The proposal? A kingfisher. But where did that idea come from? Meet Spencer Holsey, a senior studying physics. When Spencer isn't working on complicated math equations, she can be found drawing birds. Birds such as the kingfisher, which are prominent at her southern Illinois home.
We had a pond where I fished in quite a bit. We had kingfishers that lived on that pond, and so they have always been a part of my life.
Those blue and orange kingfishers are what inspired Spencer to contribute to the pool of mascot ideas. Her original design was behind a physics worksheet, which was later transferred to Adobe Illustrator. Eventually, she decided to publish her improved designs on Reddit.
The drawing was just to showcase that this is a possibility, right? It can be made to look interesting, it can be made to look different, and it's recognizable and unique.
Illinois student government quickly picked up on the design, citing its professionalism compared to other proposals.
Alma Otter, adorable, right? I think it was an absolutely adorable idea. I think a lot of people were frustrated by the aspect that it doesn't really look aggressive, and the only thing that it connects it to our university is a pun. A great pun, but a pun.
Of course, not all reactions to the design were positive. Alumni in particular have not been as favorable.
What have they been saying?
Bring back the chief.
Anything that stands out?
I would say part of their art, I haven't spent too much time reading their comments. It's frustrating to continue to read it.
While many alumni have offered constructive criticism, there have been some that have accused Spencer of setting an agenda.
I just like birds. I don't have a people keep misattributing my passion for birds for political opinion on the matter, and I don't think they're one and the same.
But no matter how the students vote next week, there are only positive outcomes. But if the majority of students do vote yes, then what's the next step?
Take it to Jones. Take it to old Chancellor Jones himself, right? I've been trying to email him, but he hasn't quite responded. Chancellor Jones, if you watch this, check your email.
The results of the ballot are expected to be released March 11. In Urbana, I'm Jose Zepeda, Illini Sports Night.
I know you have some thoughts.
Yeah.
We had the squirrel, we had the otter, we had Champ, and now here we are with a bird.
Yeah, I don't hate it too much, but one of my social teachers actually telling me this. Why don't you just go with the president? President Lincoln or Ulysses S. Grant are both respected and would be great mascots. And the Washington Nationals have mascot or former presidents as their mascot, and they're a lot of fun. So, look, we need some school spirit, and I personally think that's the way. But I like this bird too. I don't mind so much.
Lincoln would get my vote.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now for some final thoughts. Illinois women's and men's tennis are both at home this weekend.
The men's team squares off against Baylor on Saturday.
The women's team faces number 50 Kansas on Friday and Oklahoma on Sunday.
Men's gymnastics travels to Iowa this weekend to take on the Hawkeyes on Sunday.
And women's gymnastics welcomes Central Michigan to town on Sunday.
And my personal favorite, Illinois baseball announced on Wednesday that Illinois Field will be dog-friendly on Tuesday during the 2020 season. All dogs and humans, can't forget about them, will get in for free. Love it. It's a great move. I mean, the one thing I really want to see is the Bat Boy dogs.
Yeah, this is big time. Catch me out at Illinois Field on Tuesdays because I want to come hang out with the doggos. But
yeah.
Good move.
Who doesn't love a Doge? That's all we have for you on this edition of Illini Sports Night. Be sure to give us a like on Facebook and YouTube and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Who doesn't love a Doge?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Perfect. We did it perfect.
Beautiful.
Number one. We're number one.